Welcome to day 21. Here we go. Okay, so we've touched base on a lot of things. And this morning, I want to bring up a statement. I'm going to say this statement. This is a statement that I think we all want to attain. We all want to be able to feel like we've attained this. So when I say the statement, as you go to answer it and as you hear me saying it, what feelings are coming up? Really check out what feelings are coming up. And even jot down those feelings. These are going to be triggers that are popping up, and like if you keep track of them, if we don't knock them out in these quick little videos, then you can look back at them and keep knocking them out. So, I love networking and marketing my own business because I can totally wow people and they totally get it. How does that feel? Isn't that a great thing to attain? Is the ability to just say that and know that that's your truth? That you do love networking and you do love marketing your own business? It's a big hurdle, especially when you first start doing your own business, whether it's a networking business or any business of your own. It's much easier, I have found, to be able to support somebody else's business. It's just you can advertise somebody else's business. It's not like personal yours. So like when you're even networking other products, it's still you're directly affecting you because in the Magic's case, we're independent distributors and we've created our own businesses. So it can be quite a journey to get out of our own way to feel really good about the networking business and to be able to market ourselves and just come from being in all our glory and in total confident within and wowing people. Not wowing people to like, oh, a very prideful state. I'm talking about wowing people like, wow, she's really got something to say, or he's really got some great stuff. We really need to check this out. Coming from a space right directly from the heart, you have the ability to do that. But there's so much of us that just wants to protect our hearts because we feel like they're fragile, that they could get hurt, which is so not true. Our feelings and the thoughts of our feelings could make us feel offended or take things personally, but really, our heart, you can't. It's when we energize our heart and really, really see who we really are, it's hugely powerful, and there's nothing that can disturb that power. It's really separation. It's like feeling separate from our own heart and from our own essence of who we truly are. And we do that out of a fear of being hurt. So welcome up those feelings of fear of putting yourself out there. It's being disciplined, it's being self-confident, it's all of it. It's feeling like you have to be an extrovert instead of an introvert, and look even at all the comedians. Like some of them will tell you they're very shy inside, and they're just doing this comedy act. So, could you welcome up that fear of marketing yourself? The fear of being all that you are. Is that wanting approval? Wanting control? Wanting safety? It could be all of them. It's another huge approval issue. It's another huge control issue as far as being disciplined for ourselves. It's another huge safety issue, like what are they going to do to me if they don't like me? Are they going to attack me? Are they going to want to hurt me? Are they going to hurt my feelings? When you become unstoppable and in all your glory, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. And you can actually feel good about marketing yourself and networking and feel free. So let's just use approval. Let's start with approval. And if you want to take it to control and you want to take it to safety, go for it. So repeat after me, because we are going to declare what we really, really want, and that's our freedom. So I must want freedom more than I want approval, control, or safety. Yes. I decide to let go, to be free. So could you let go of wanting approval from everybody so you can have approval? Yes. Could you let go of wanting approval so you could have approval? Yes. And that includes wanting approval from yourself. No matter how silly that sounds, we're seeking self-approval too. So could you let go of wanting approval so you could have approval? Yes. What feels better, having approval or wanting approval? Having approval feels better. So could you let go of wanting approval so you can have approval? Yes. Do you have approval or do you still want approval? I have approval. Can you have even more approval? Yes. And even more approval? Yes. And even more approval? Yes. And could you have even more approval? Yes. And even more approval? Yes. And even more approval? Yes. Well, say all of a sudden you had $10 million fall into your lap. Is there any wanting approval from others? Like, how are others going to judge me if all of a sudden I have all this money? Could you let go of wanting approval so you can have approval? Yes. Could you let go of wanting approval so you can have approval? Yes. We almost even block money from coming to us just so we can fit in. Could you let go of wanting approval so you can have approval? Yes. And there's many people to fit in that have a lot of money too, right? And it's kind of silly. The programs that are deep inside us that we don't even know are there. And it's when we start digging, we can find them. Sometimes we can just knock them out without even discovering what they are. And that's fine. Why not? Effortless. It's all about being effortless. Simple. So could you let go of wanting approval so you can have approval? Yes. Do you have approval? Yes. Could you just give yourself some love and approval? Yes. And could you give yourself even more love and approval? Yes. And could you give yourself even more love and approval? Yes. And even more? 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 Yes. And even more. Yes. And what if you all of a sudden had more money than Bill Gates? Then you wouldn't fit in with anybody, not even Bill Gates. You'd have more money than him. What if? So what? Let's get bulletproof. Imagine the people we could help with all this money. Money's just a piece of paper. It's a forest. Could you give yourself even more love and approval? Yes. And 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 even more love and approval? Yes. What are you experiencing? Quiet, some peace, some silliness maybe, some happiness? Could you give yourself even more love and approval? Yes. And even more? Yes. And even more? Yes. And even more? Could you give yourself even more love and approval? And even more? 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 Let's be the change that we want to see. Aloha.